Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing another 5-star prediction follow-up in which I go through books that I predicted would be 5 stars and see if they actually were. So far I think I have 3 5-star prediction videos and 1 follow-up that I've done before this one. And it turns out I'm not very good at predicting 5-star reads, but I already committed to it, so now I gotta follow up. First book on this list I don't have a physical copy of, so take that as an indication of how that went. It is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. I hated this book with a burning fucking passion. I gave it 1.5 stars, and I do have a full drunk book review of it if you're interested on my thoughts. Unfortunately, that book did not work out for me at all. It's about a woman who's a badass scientist, and her ex-husband is married to a clone of her. One day the clone calls her husband is dead, and they have to figure out what they're gonna do. That sounded really interesting. I was super intrigued. I hated it. A lot of people really love it, so I don't want to discourage anybody from reading it, but I absolutely fucking hated that book. And the only reason that I gave the extra 0.5 stars is because there were some plot twists that I didn't see coming, and I appreciate that. I am a sucker for a good plot twist. Otherwise, it was terrible, and I sold the book. The next book that I have is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This one, when I put it on my previous video, I said I wasn't sure if it would actually be a 5-star read, but that I was really intrigued by it because the premise of it sounds really interesting. In this world, sickness and disease no longer exist, so there are Scythes that essentially serve as population control. They go around and glean people, meaning they end their life when it is their time. Otherwise, everyone would just live forever. So we follow 2 teenagers who have been chosen as a senior Scythe apprentice, and we follow their journey from there. I did really enjoy this. I gave it 4.75 stars, so that is a win for me. Our buddy read this book with Robin, and I recently finished Thunderhead. Both of them are really good, and I'm really excited to finish the trilogy. The next book that I have on this list is Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is one that I heard a lot about from a lot of different booktubers, and I read this month, so I'll talk more about it in my January wrap-up, but I did really enjoy this. I did give it 5 stars. So in this, we are following a young man whose older brother has just been shot and killed. Now, the rules state that when someone hurts someone you love, you hurt them back. So he is ready to enact this revenge plot. However, while he's in the elevator on the way down to the lobby, he has this life-changing experience. This book prompts a very important discussion of gun violence and why it seems to be a never-ending cycle. I don't want to say anything more than that because I think it's best for you to just go in with that little bit of information and just enjoy the ride from there. But I absolutely love this book, and it absolutely deserves all the hype that it's been getting. I am a little mad at myself for not picking this up sooner. It was absolutely worth it, and I definitely want to read more from Jason Reynolds. The next book on this list is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is the first book in the Greenbone saga. I was really excited about this book, and unfortunately I did not give it 5 stars. I did end up giving it 4 stars. However, there's a few things that go along with that. So first, when I first started reading it, I was really wrapped up in the story. I was really enjoying it. I was like, this is definitely going to be a 5-star read. You get about halfway through the book and something happened, and at that turning point, everything kind of went downhill for me. I did not enjoy the second half of the book as much as I had hoped. However, because of how I felt about the first half of the book, I felt like it was only fair to give it 4 stars. I buddy read this one with Robin and Dasha, and in this we are following 2 Greenbone gangs. Greenbones are people who have the ability to wield jade, and the more jade you have, the clearer your perception is, the stronger and faster you are. It basically gives you almost superhuman powers. So on the island of Kekong, there are 2 Greenbone gangs that are competing. They are on the brink of war, and we're more closely following the No Peak clan and the Cull family. I really enjoyed the characters, really enjoyed the political intrigue, but it wasn't my favorite. And typically when I start a series, I'm very eager to read it. I read this, I don't even know how long ago I read this, and I'm just now picking up Jade War and buddy reading it with Robin. So I'm hoping that I enjoyed enough to continue and finish the trilogy, but honestly, I don't know if I will. The next book on this list is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. This is the first book in the Sands of Aralia duology. I did enjoy this, but I didn't give it 5 stars. I gave it 4 stars, so that's not bad at all. In this, we are following Zafira, who is known as the Hunter. However, a lot of people don't actually know of her identity, and more importantly, that she's a woman. She has the ability to travel into this magical forest that most people die in. So she goes into the forest and she hunts, and that's how she's been feeding her village for a really long time. So Zafira gets sent on this mission to retrieve this ancient book that could restore magic to the land. So while we're following Zafira's POV, we also get a perspective from Nasir, who is the prince, as well as Arabia's greatest assassin. He gets sent on that same mission, not only to retrieve that same book, but to kill Zafira. So there is an epic journey, romance ensues. There were some things that I just didn't love though that the characters did, as in most YA fantasies there seems to be a trend of that. So I did enjoy it, but it wasn't a 5-star read. I also read We Free the Stars and I enjoyed that one as well. The next book on this list is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Rosanna A. Brown. This is the first book in a duology and I gave this one 4 stars. So not a 5-star read, but I did really enjoy it. I also read the sequel, A Song of Storms and Silence, and I gave that one 4.5 stars. In this, we're following the Crown Princess Karina, who is grieving the loss of her mother. She wants to do a rite of resurrection to bring her back, and in order to do so, she needs the beating heart of a king. We're also following Malik, who has been tasked with killing the princess in order to get his little sister back, who has been kidnapped by a demon. So like I said, I enjoyed this. Again, there were some things that the characters did that I did not love. Decisions that I felt were stupid, got them into more trouble than was necessary, and were completely avoidable. Other than that, it was really good. I really enjoyed the world and the history of the world, and I had an even better time with the sequel. The next book on this list is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the first book in the David trilogy. I have a very interesting relationship with this trilogy, but regardless of any of that, I absolutely love City of Brass. I gave it 4.75 stars originally, but I think at this point I'm ready to just give it a full 5. I really enjoyed the character as well as the world and the political intrigue and everything that we learned about this magical city. So in this, we're following Nari, who is a con artist in 18th century Cairo. One day she accidentally summons an ancient Jinn warrior. The warrior recognizes that she has some magical abilities, so he takes her to the magical city of Daevabad. Along with Nari's perspective, we get Alizade Al-Qatani, who is one of the princes in Daevabad, so we get to see the inner workings of the palace. I really enjoyed this, really enjoyed the world. I didn't love all of the characters, but I still had a good time with it, and I'm excited to read the short stories that are coming out later this year. And the last book that I have for now is Upon a Burning Throne by Show K. Banker. This is the first book in the Burnt Empire saga. I absolutely loved everything about this one. It was so good. I knew that it was going to be good when I got halfway through the prologue and shit had already hit the fan. This is an Indian-inspired fantasy where we are following 2 young princes, Audrey and Shvate. Shortly after they're born, it has to be determined which one of them will rule, and in order to find out, they have to be put through the test of fire, in which they literally sit upon a burning throne. Both of the princes pass, and so it is decided that they will rule together. However, there is another child who also passes the test, and chaos ensues from there. I really enjoyed this book. I've been encouraging all of my friends to read it because I love it so much, and I think it deserves so much more hype than it's been getting. I already have the second book both physically and on audio, and I just got approved for an arc of the third, so I'm really excited to continue the series, and I hope to read the next book next month. Both this and Scythe were on my best books of 2021. So that is it for my 5-star prediction follow-up. This second round went much better than the first one. Hopefully third time's the charm, and that'll be even better. I do have 6 more books that I haven't talked about just yet, so hopefully I can get to all of those and give you another follow-up. Let me know if you have read any of these or if they are on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.